Balancing a full-time job and running a medical billing business is no small feat. Deadlines, clients, and never-ending to-do lists is just some of the things that you'll have to do. This is day 15 of our series, From Medical Biller to Billing Business Owner, Balancing Work and Entrepreneurship. And in doing the two, you can quickly get overwhelmed, but they are surely doable. So with some smart time management and productivity hacks, you can make it work without burnout. The first thing is to define priorities and set boundaries. Which tasks bring the most value for both jobs, and which can be postponed or delegated? So for example, in your medical billing business, if you are doing the bookkeeping, let's say, and so you're a solopreneur and you're doing everything and you're doing the bookkeeping particularly for your business. Is there maybe a way that you can delegate that out to someone else? Whether it is maybe someone you know personally who can do bookkeeping for you, or if you have to hire somebody. You don't always have to spend a whole lot of money to hire a contractor. You may have a small business because of course you're just starting out, so you might not even have that much bookkeeping to do. But when you do it, it takes forever. So it's taking up valuable time from you actually doing the billing for your clients, because now you're trying to figure out how to do the bookkeeping. But if you decide, well, I'll get somebody who's an expert at bookkeeping, and maybe I just need to pay them $100, $200 for the month. They do everything. Or maybe you have them do it in 6 months or 3 month spans. I wouldn't say go as far out as 6 months, because you want to make sure your bookkeeping is straight. So even if, let's say, you do every quarter, you have the person do your bookkeeping every quarter. So because you don't have a lot of bookkeeping to do, it won't take them, the expert, as long to do it as it would you if you're trying to do it on top of everything else. So you have to see the value in each job that you do. That also goes for at work, because you might have some tasks that you're doing that is maybe not even on your responsibility list. If you're the medical biller, but you're out there doing a whole lot of other tasks that maybe someone else is supposed to be doing, then you need to make sure you give them back those tasks that they're supposed to be doing. You don't take on way more than you can handle, because now you're trying to manage both your full-time job and your medical billing business. You'll also set boundaries in each of these jobs. And what I mean by that is, if you are one of those people who tend to take your full-time work or your full-time job work home with you, you need to stop doing that. Because now you do not have the time to be doing what you were supposed to do at work, at home, because you are doing your billing business at home. So you make sure you set boundaries for yourself. When you are at your 9 to 5, you do your 9 to 5 duties. When you get home, you do your billing duties. So you say to yourself, from 9 to 5, excluding lunch, I will be working and thinking about and working on my full-time job. But when I get off, or before I get to my job, or even during my lunch break, I can work on my billing business. So you have to set boundaries for yourself and give yourself times when you are going to do your job and your medical billing business. Then there's time blocking and batch working. Staying organized and making the most of your time will be the game changer. So not only do you want to make sure that you say, I'm gonna work on my business in the evenings, or I'm gonna work on my business on the weekends, you want to make sure that you time block. You give yourself a specific amount of time to do the work. Now, I don't remember what the name of it is, but I'll put it on the screen if I do. But you know, if you give yourself 10 days to do something, it's gonna take those whole 10 days to do it. But if you give yourself an hour to do something, then you can do it within that hour. Now, all of that is relative, but you know what I mean. So for example, if you just tell yourself, after work, when I get home, I'm going to do my claim submission. Now, claim submission shouldn't take that long, especially if you're doing it electronically and, not by paper, but you're doing it electronically. It shouldn't take that long. But you say, I'm gonna do that in the evenings. You don't really give yourself a certain amount of time, and so you just say, I'm going to do it. When you reach home, trust and believe you're not going to do the claim submission quick like you're supposed to. You're going to probably be lollygagging, cooking, doing this, doing that on social media, all of those things when you should be doing your claim submission. But if you tell yourself after work for an hour, I'm going to do claim submission, then trust and believe you will get it done within that hour. Even if it takes a little bit longer than the hour, or maybe even less than the hour, but you gave yourself a time limit, and so that made you more inclined to get it done within that time. So always make sure that you time block and batch working. So when it comes to batch working, let's go with the claim submission example. You will make sure that you do claim submissions for all of your clients all at once. If you can do that, then that would be the best, because now you're already in that mode of doing the claim submission. You don't have to jump back and forth. So say you're deciding you're going to do claim submission for one client, and then payment posting for another client, and then patient statements for another client, and now you're all over the place. Even though that might sound like, oh, well, that's something simple. It's just, sending out claims. It's just sending out statements. It could be, but you have to switch your mind from doing claims submission to doing patient statements to doing payment posting. All of these times you have to switch your mind, and it's going to take you some time to build up your momentum to start doing it, as quick as you can. So if you batch your work, you do all things at the same time. That's why I always say, if you're doing payment posting and you have to manually post some payments sometimes, I always say, don't stop and fix denials at that time. If you have a big bulk of payments to post all of those payments. Then come back and do the denials. Because when you start to distract yourself and you're not focused and you're back and forth between denials and trying to figure out why and posting this payment and sending out a statement, you are not focused, and it's going to take you much longer to finish the job of posting the payments than it would if you just did it all the way completely through. So time blocking and batch working is a lifesaver. Now you can also utilize a management tool. I personally use a planner and I use a paper planner. If you're on my channel for any time, I've said this several times, I am a paper girl. I like to write down what I need to do, what day I need to do it, what time I need to do it. All of that is actually physically written down. But you can also use such things as Asana and I think Notion, and you can use Google Calendar. Don't get me wrong, I do use some of those things, but for the most part, it is all written down in a paper planner. Of course, these other tools, people like those better because they can share them, and there's benefits to both. So whatever is good for you, do that. But make sure it's something that you're going to use and something that you like to use, and don't just use what someone wants you to use. In these management tools, you'll put down deadlines and do to-do lists, and just have it documented, the work that you need to do, and so that first of all you can remember to do it, and that you keep up on these things you have to follow up on. If you know anything about billing is a lot of follow-up. Yes, it can be easy to send out claims when it comes time to follow up on a claim, one that wasn't paid. That's where the real problem comes in. So you need some type of structure, and you can use a management tool to do that. Also consider using a billing system that is automated, that helps you do things quicker since it's only you doing the job at this time. If a provider has a system that you're using, or if you have your own system that can automate certain things like patient statements or payment posting or other tasks that you need to do in your medical billing business, and you can afford to automate them because most of the time you have to pay for that automation, then do it, because it will definitely help you in the long run, and it can also help you bring on more clients since it's only you who's doing the work. Then let's talk about managing clients' expectations. You don't want to take on more than you can handle. Now, in the previous videos, we've talked about, what services you're gonna offer and boundaries and all those other things, but that goes back to being able to manage your clients. Don't take on doing services that you know you can't handle or is going to take up so much of your time that you can't do your job the right way. So if you are going to take on services that are going to take up a lot of time that you have, then don't take on a lot of clients unless you then decide to maybe be higher and get another biller and all of those other things. But for right now, since you're just starting out, it's just you. You don't want to overwhelm yourself, and you want to make sure that your clients are satisfied. You don't want to agree to do things that you can't do. So in order to balance the two and not feel overwhelmed, just don't take on too much more than you can handle. Again, if they ask for something to be done and you can't handle it, be honest and let them know. And here's an extra tip that I think is very, very important. And I don't know if others talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it here. I remember for a long time, I did not really have my self-care intact. Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably tired of hearing about this self-care thing, but it is really true, and it needs to be implemented more, and not necessarily in the way that you think I'm going to say it. Most of the time when you hear about self-care, you hear about lounging in the bubble bath and, lighting candles and drinking your chamomile tea. All of that is good and dandy, and if you can do it, great, do it. But you probably won't be able to do it every week or every day. You probably will be able to do that, far and in between, especially because you're working a full-time job, you have your medical billing business, and you have a lot of other priorities. But simple things such as getting a good night's sleep, taking breaks when you're supposed to, and carving out time just for yourself, just to be alone, not thinking about billing, can help you a lot when it comes to your self-care. I remember when I used to consume billing all the time. Like, I love billing so much that I would be finished doing my billing job, come home to do my billing business, and then I would watch billing on YouTube. I would read billing magazines. I would go to billing seminars. Like, I was so consumed with billing, which wasn't bad because I think it helped me, grow. It helped me learn. It helped me network, all of those things. So it wasn't a bad thing. But it did become overwhelming. Sometimes you have to just disconnect, and just take a break. Clear your mind, do something that you like that's fun, get sleep. Even if it can just be something as simple as getting a good night's rest. And there's also such a thing as knowing your energy levels and managing that. I have realized for myself a long time ago that I am not the best at night or in the evenings. But when I'm running my medical billing business, I have to work at night, again, because I work full time. So I had to learn how to choose tasks that I could do at certain times of the day where I had energy, where I didn't feel, boggled down and tired and, just drained. When I'm drained, my mind is drained and none of it is great. So it may take me 3-4 hours to post payments, and trust me, there have been times that it did, just because I felt like I wanted to finish the task. I needed to complete this task, and I just kind of forced myself to do it. But it took me so much longer to do the task because my brain wasn't fully functioning. What I have learned to do is, if I have started a task and I start to notice that, maybe I'm not focused, it's taking me a lot longer to do, I would cut off from doing that. Maybe the task is too much for my brain, and if I have something else to do on my list, which most of the time I do have, I can do that instead. Or maybe I'm just so tired that I can't do any of it. And so I decide to just don't do anything, close up shop, and start again maybe in the morning. If I get a good night's sleep, then I can wake up earlier and I can start earlier. That's the good thing about having a medical billing business, is that you don't have to be forced to do something at that particular time. Unless you have procrastinated and it needs to be done, you can actually say, okay, this is not going to get done tonight or today. Let me wait until tomorrow. Most of the time in your full-time job, if you're having your boss expect it now for now, you have to get it done regardless of how you feel, your energy levels, anything. But again, in your medical billing business, you make the decisions, and so you might decide, I'll just do this tomorrow, and where it may have taken you 2 hours to do the night when you were really tired, it might just take you 20 minutes. So why waste a 2-hour time compared to 20 minutes to do something when, you could have just hold off on it and got it done in the morning and probably got it done better. So practicing self-care in your business will definitely help you balance both your billing business and your full-time job. And so in my next video, I'll be discussing why it's important to not only work and balance your full-time job and your medical billing business, but also go out there and network, because it will help you with your business as well. So I'll see you over there in the next one.